Hey everybody, how you doing? This morning, I released a post on zenireport.com entitled Two Oakland City Council Views of City of Oakland AASEG deal. Who's right? Well, what I'm doing now is this is the video version uh, to, to accompany the written version on zenireport.com that you'll see if you simply click on the link that is below my face, right? But this isn't going to be as long as it will take you to read the article. But here is the article with both Nikki Fortunato Bass, Oakland City Council President, and Janani Ramakandran, the District 4 Council member on it. Two opposing views. Nikki believes the city's agreement to sell the Oakland American Coliseum to the African American Sports Entertainment Group and use that money to go into the City of Oakland budget was a good idea. Johnny disagrees, saying that it's very much a technicality, that she claims the agreement was for money to be paid $5 million on September 1st, and indeed it was. However, Johnny doesn't believe it for reasons best known to her, because Oakland District 7 Councilmember Tria Reed actually contacted and met with our treasurer and confirmed that indeed $5 million was paid to meet that deadline. But Johnny has gone forward unfettered with this idea and bases it on language that I will show you that Johnny and I have communicated about. So I'm not talking about something that she and I haven't communicated on, but there is a problem. First of all, what Nikki says is that she applauds the updated agreement between the City of Oakland and AASEG, which includes a higher price for Oakland's stake in the Coliseum and a faster timeline to develop the historic site for sports, entertainment, housing, and a thriving business corridor in East Oakland. And then she goes on to discuss the restructured agreement. Says it's a higher purchase price of $125 million versus $105 million. Payment of the city's outstanding bond payments for the Coliseum area, enabling the city to retire debt early, reducing our long-term liabilities. Payment of $50 million more in the current fiscal year, $110 million versus $60 million. Now note, current fiscal year doesn't mean this year. The fiscal year extends until next year. I think some people don't quite understand that. But it extends until next year, and the city picks up its new fiscal year in July 1st of 2025. So the fiscal year that she's talking about really extends until the first half of 2025. All right, that has to be made clear. All right. So then, Johnny, as I said, parts company, and she points strictly to, and I'm scrolling down here for the purpose of time. All right, this language from the resolution, and I'm highlighting it, that if $15 million from the land sale of the Coliseum is not received by September 1st, 2024, or if an additional $15 million is not received by November 1st, 2024, or if the remaining $33 million is not received by January 15th of 2025, then the city administrator, they didn't put the then in, that they need to do. The city administrator is directed to freeze the hiring of new positions and make all these different cuts, right? Okay. But, all right, as I wrote here, the way the resolution is written, you have to read the ors. There is no language that says that if September 1st is met and there wasn't, payment, that the city must do right then, okay, a cut. It says or, which means I can wait until the next day of November, pay, let's say I paid September 1st and that. Basically, I can wait all the way until January 15th. And the number of people around the city who read it that way. Okay? So that's the problem. So John and turns to the city attorney's office, which is always political, and goes with what she interprets and not the way the language is actually written here. Okay? And herein lay the problem. So, but the bottom line is that the payment of $5 million was made. And I have to say something too, okay? To close this for the purpose of information. It is very racist to assume that because a financial organization like Loop Capital is black, that it automatically doesn't have the money. Or that if it had the money, it would pay it up front. Because you're asking for Loop Capital to pay a ton of money up front, and the city is not going to convey the land to them immediately, which is what the problem was. All right? And so, among other things. And the agreement was to do it in pieces and spread it out. And partly, there's a good reason for that too. All right? The financial organizations that are also involved in this want to see how the city of Oakland's political situation is going to come out. In other words, let's wait until the recall is done. All right? And then we'll begin this transaction. Then we'll begin to roll out everything. Because right now, the city is a total political mess. You don't know how the recall is going to be done. You don't know how the interim is going to be done. There's a lot of unknowns. And so the real news about this deal is that it was structured to literally skip over the political chaos. You didn't hear that any place else but here, okay? That's the real news. Hence these timetables. Also, it's not normal to sell land to a city for it to meet its budget obligations. That was the other problem. That was all straightened out. Now, for every portion of the total sale that AASEG pays over this time period, a section of the total land is transferred to their ownership, to its ownership, okay? That's the way it was laid out. Someone says, oh, they can't do it that way. Well, actually, they can do it that way. It was done that way. It was approved by the city administrator, which means also the city attorney gives a thumbs up. So there's another part of this too that has to be considered. And it goes back to the article and my friend John and John and keeps talking as if, hey, all these cuts are going to go into place right now. We need to do this because we're going to be bankrupt if we don't. John and Rachmandran was the same person who reminded us not too long ago, back in May 3rd, that she found $50 million of unpaid business taxes, all right, that were, as it turned out later, were caused because of the ransomware attack. She seems to have forgotten that. Because we had this rush of payments that she didn't even consider. It's like the left hand of Jean-Denis not knowing what the right hand of Jean-Denis did. Literally, that's what it is. You know, it's, and I hate to say it, but it's true. It's true. So either she's playing politics or she literally forgot. Which is it, Council Member? Just asking. A lot of people want to know because this thing has been so heavily politicized that it is one more reason why I say we no longer need a strong mayor form of government and a council manager form of government adjusted to give the mayor slightly more power is much better. Okay, but this system that we have right now, where the mayor has the CAO as a political appointee, sends a ripple effect of insecurity throughout the city. That's got to stop. All right, I'm done here, folks. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube. Look forward to your comments. Bookmark ZennyReport.com. That ends the stream. Thank you.